let's do some modifications to a selection. So I'm going to select the potato with my goal being to remove the potato from the background and place it on its own layer. So I'm going to navigate to my favorite tool, the Quick Selection tool. And with this tool, remember, I'm just dragging, and it didn't take very long for the whole thing to become selected. So a couple of things that we can do. If it didn't quite get what I wanted it to get, I can do a select menu and a modify. So under the select menu and modify, I'm able to expand, I'm able to place a border, I'm able to do smoothing, smooth it out a bit, which would smooth sharp corners, jagged lines. Like I said, I can expand it or I can contract it, and these two are opposites. So if I expand it, I can say how many pixels I would like to expand this. So let's expand it 10 pixels and click OK. And then here you can see it just went out 10 pixels from every pixel that was currently selected. Contract would do the opposite. If I go back to select, modify, I have a feather. And feather, we looked at this earlier. This is an option that will kind of blend out my edges. So I can choose feather in some of my tools up in the options bar. If I go to like the lasso tool, you can see that I have a feather option. Or with the marquee tools here, rectangular, elliptical, I have a feather option. Now, if I forget to put my feather on initially, but yet I want it to have a feather, I can go to Select, Modify, and Feather. Again, putting in a feather amount, and I'll do a 10 here as well. Click OK. Initially, you don't see anything that happens, and sometimes your feathers you're not going to see, or it might look as though your selection shrunk. But what it's doing is it's making the edges fade. And if I click delete right now just to show you, and let's delete it to we'll do a black so you can see what happens, and click OK. Do you see the feather right there? So it's a gradual, it actually goes inside of the selection and it goes outside, so it does an amount of a feather. Okay, I'm going to undo, and now actually I'm going to go back into my history and undo that feather as well, because I do want to keep a crisp edge. Remember, history allows us to step back. So now if I do a copy, and I'm going to use my quick key, Control C, copy, Control V, paste, look what just happened. So now I have my potato on its own layer, and I have it on transparency. This is exactly what I want as I start to composite, because I may want objects behind the potato or I may want objects on top of the potato. By having it on a background, as I had earlier, I was stuck. It was going to be on white, and there was no way to put something appear as though it's behind. So by moving it to its own layer, now I can have a lot more flexibility. So just some quick overview ideas on how we can modify a selection.